On Sunday, Aston Villa hosted Manchester United in the Premier League, and to be honest, I was really expecting Aston Villa to win this game, and I wasn't really expecting like a thrashing, probably like a 2-1, 2-0 game where Man United hung in for it for quite a bit, and then towards the end Villa got a goal or something, or Villa got an early goal and then Man United were chasing the game or something, then Villa put another one in. Was expecting it to go something like that, but if I'm brutally honest, completely the opposite of how I thought it would go. So that shows just how much I know. So yeah, probably shouldn't really listen to me all that much, but so getting into the game, for the first 20 minutes it was really quiet. Neither of the teams really did anything, and it was kind of just going back and forth. They were passing it around and going forward. No clear-cut chances were really made, except from one chance where Aston Villa were very slow to play out from the back, and Man United really caught them, slacking. And then they created a bit of a chance which really didn't lead to anything. So apart from that, the first 20 minutes, basically nothing happened. No big chances were made. I think this was just both teams kind of getting a feel for the game, because Man United at this point were 8 points behind Villa, and Villa wanted to keep up the pressure on the teams above them. So for both of them, this was a very important game. So that doesn't really surprise me considering the context. However, from a corner, which it was quite controversial, this corner, apparently it didn't come off the Villa player, but oh well, it happened. So from this corner, Harry Maguire heads the ball down. I'm not sure if he headed it down deliberately or if it was like him trying to head the ball onto goal and it just happened to hit the floor. So however, Harry Maguire heads the ball down to Højlund, who then basically sticks his foot out and scores. So Man United go ahead 1-0, and it wasn't really against the run of play per se, because United were going forward and trying to create chances. It's just that nothing had really happened up to this point really. No clear-cut chances had been made. So Man United go 1-0 up, and then after this, Villa really did start pressing and moving forward quite aggressively, which started opening up Man United's defence. And this is quite worrying considering that Villa hadn't really put much pressure on, and then as soon as they turn it up, bang, they just start putting the pressure on. It opens us up, and they did it quite easily, to be honest. So this started forcing some good saves out of Onana, and really with Onana, I didn't think he was that good of a goalkeeper, like saves wise. However, this game is just showing that he can step up when he needs to. It's just he doesn't step up like all the time, even though a lot of the shots were like quite close to him and he didn't really need to move all that much for a lot of them. There were a couple of them where he needed to make some acrobatic move to get to the ball. However, his reactions in this game seemed to be pretty much on point, because a lot of the ones that came like near him were going very quick. So he kind of had to parry the ball away behind for a corner, or just parry it away from the goal. So yeah, after those few saves from Onana, I kind of felt like the intensity went up after like the 30-minute mark, which really made for a much more interesting game, because players were going in for tackles a lot more aggressively. Both teams were trying to play the ball forward a lot more as well, so it made for a good viewing of a game. However, there was a bit of an incident where Casemiro was booked for not even touching Matty Cash, and he just threw himself to the floor, which kind of does annoy me. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but the thing is, even if you brush someone, they'll go down. And to be honest, Casemiro didn't touch him, and he pleaded his case, but he also got a yellow card for it, which I think was very harsh, because if he did foul him at that point, then it wasn't really much of a foul anyway. So at the end of the first half, Man United were all over the place, and Villa's pressing was clearly working, which was a big worry. However, going into half-time, Man United managed to preserve that 1-0 lead, and then coming into the second half, Villa were just going straight forward at United again. It really did look like Aston Villa could go ahead and equalise and possibly nick a second goal as well, because a ball was played cross to Ollie Watkins, but he put it straight at Onana. So really Villa just not taking their chances there. And then not long after this though, after another good save from Andre Onana, Man United it wasn't really cleared that well, and the ball was played back into the box where Luiz, for Villa obviously, stuck it kind of like right in the top corner. He just put his foot, didn't really put his foot through it, he kind of just guided the ball into the top corner where Onana really didn't have a chance because it was from a corner, so the box was still quite crowded when the ball was put back in. So I'll admit it was a good goal, it was a good little ball across, and Luiz did guide it into the top corner. So now it's 1-1, and after this, really what happened for the rest of the game was Aston Villa were creating multiple chances, and in this time Manchester United really just looked to kind of like counter-attack, so they were basically sitting more defensively at this point. It almost looks like United were playing for a draw, and at times it looked like Villa were playing for a draw as well, which seemed really weird because they were the ones going forward and going really trying to get that goal, but then there were times where they just kind of like looked like they were sat back and playing for the draw, which they're at home, you should be going for the win every time you're at home, which was really weird to me. So for a big part of the last part of the game, nothing really happened. It was a lot like the first 20 minutes of the game where it was really back and forth and no clear-cut chances were being created. However, out of nowhere, a Diego Dalot cross found its way in the box, and the ball found its way onto Scott McTominay's header, which went straight in the back of the net, giving Man United a 2-1 lead very late in the game, and this was completely against the run of play. Aston Villa really dominated the entire second half, and that header from Scott McTominay ended up winning Man United the game 2-1, and I will admit, being a Man United fan, Villa really, especially in the second half, really outplayed us. I think they were the better team by a mile in that second half. The first half, I think it was more even. So overall, I think Man United were lucky to get a 2-1 win. They managed to go in front, and then really after that, Villa just stepped it up, and Man United really didn't do all too much after that, obviously, except from like scoring the goal and all that. So yeah, to be honest, this game, it was a really weird one in the sense that there were periods in the game where nothing happened, and then there was a 10-20 minute period where both teams are going at it, or one team was going at it, and chances are being created, and then it just like sat back again, and then more chances were created, and then Man United scored again, and it was quite a back and forth game, but not like your typical back and forth game. It was more back and forth as in nothing happened and then something happened. So yeah, I thought it was an interesting game to watch. I do think it was a good game. It wasn't like a game of the season contender, nothing like that, but it was an interesting game to see really what happened. So yeah, let me know what you think about the game down in the comments. Do you think United deserved to win? Do you think Villa deserved to win? Or do you think a draw was a fair result? Leave all that down in the comments. If you like the video, leave a like, and also go and check out some of the other videos on the channel because I post weekly and about multiple different topics. And if you like the videos, consider subscribing so you can see more of them, and turn on the notifications so hopefully you get notified when I do post a video. So yeah, thank you for listening to the video, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.